5 major changes likely coming to the stimulus package now that it is in the Senate. Let's get into the list. But if you haven't done so yet, or if you happen to be new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video, as information is changing very rapidly right now, and I'm here for you each and every day with all those latest updates so you can stay tuned with everything going on right now and ultimately get as many benefits as you possibly can out of these multi-trillion-dollar stimulus packages. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Subscribe down below, and let's get into the list right away. All right, so now that the stimulus package is in the Senate, as we've talked about previously in other videos, there are likely going to be many changes that go on in the stimulus package. However, these are likely going to be the 5 most major changes to the package that we know about. Now again, there's probably going to be some major changes that come out of the stimulus package that we don't even know about or that we're not even aware of quite yet. However, I guarantee it, there will be changes to the stimulus package because we've known this for a while now, and senators have been saying, this is the House bill. Don't worry, the Senate bill is going to be very different. So I'm kind of interested to see how this whole thing shakes out as the Senate works their way through this stimulus package. But with that being said, let's get into the list of these 5 major changes to the package that we can anticipate. Like I said, not to mention all of the other major changes that we're not even aware about yet, right? That's why it's going to be very interesting here over the coming weeks as they work their way through the final negotiations on this package. All right, number 1 is Medicare expansion. This is one that we've talked about many times here on the channel because a lot of you here in this community actually do receive Medicare. Therefore, it's something that we want to keep our eyes on to see what they're actually doing with it. But as of right now, the House bill only expands Medicare coverages to include hearing coverage. That's it as of right now. Well, remember, for all those months over the summer and in through the fall, the early fall, there were many people out saying, oh, it's going to be a Medicare expansion including hearing, dental, and vision. Well, unfortunately, vision and dental were dropped from it in the House bill. However, now that it's back in the Senate, we have people like Bernie Sanders who are once again going to push for the expansion of all of these benefits in Medicare, or within the stimulus package for Medicare expansion, to include hearing, dental, and vision. So again, as of right now, they have hearing tied up in the bill, and that one is in there so far. However, people like Bernie Sanders and other senators will be going for more benefits like vision and dental. So I'll keep you posted on that, and we'll have to see how that whole thing shakes out, but that certainly would be nice. I've seen a number of comments down below from people saying, sure would be nice to be able to get some glasses. Glasses are very expensive, a couple $100s. Yeah, very expensive. Not only that, other people saying, hey, it sure would be nice to be able to get some dental work done. I have, a couple teeth that need to be pulled or some cavities or, whatever, just a simple cleaning even. It'd be nice to get all those things done as well. So, again, I'll watch that for you. All right, next on the list is paid family and medical leave. Now, you might be wondering, why do we care about this? Here's why we care about it. Because according to the rules, as I announced about maybe 3 weeks ago or so, this is actually a self-attestment. In other words, we self-attest that we need 4 weeks of paid leave for medical or family leave. Therefore, we basically just fill out the form ourselves saying, I attest, I'm Matt, and I need 4 weeks of medical leave for XYZ. Or, I need 4 weeks of paid leave for whatever reason, right? So it's a self-attesting application. Therefore, basically anybody who can apply for any reason. Now, maybe they're going to change that. I would anticipate they would, because who says that people aren't just going to sign up on there and just say, hey, I need 4 weeks of paid leave? You know what I mean? So you never know how that whole thing's going to happen right there. But either way, that is something in there right now. Now, again, this is likely going to get some change in the Senate. There's a few people out there who may want this and a few people who say, nah, let's toss it out of here. So the paid family leave will likely be getting some reform and or completely removed in the Senate bill. However, again, we'll have to watch that closely because we have no clue what's going to come out of that. But the whole self-attestment does seem kind of like an interesting concept, right? So, yeah, we'll watch that for you very closely. Next on the list is the SALT deduction. Now, what does this stand for? State and local tax deduction. Now, the House bill has it one way. So previously, back in 2017, they have a cap for SALT deductions, in other words, state and local tax deductions, of $10,000. However, in the House bill, they raised it up to $80,000. So $80,000, $80,000. So that is what now can be deducted as a result of the House bill. However, the Senate has their own bill. They want something similar, but yet they want to make sure that anybody earning over $400,000 does not get to take advantage of the SALT deductions like anybody who is under $400,000. Whereas right now, the House bill doesn't really have that $400,000 exclusion. So Something else we'll have to watch very closely. By the way, the SALT deduction, you might be wondering, what is it and why do we care? This is the deduction that many people have been actually saying, this is the tax break for the wealthy. And that's literally what it is. In fact, the vast majority of the people that will benefit from the SALT deduction are those individuals who are much higher income individuals. So, like, 95% of the benefits from this will actually benefit the 1%ers. So that was a report that I talked about, I don't know, maybe a week ago or so. It was a report that came out and said like 95% of the SALT deduction benefits will go to the top 1%. So yeah, that's exactly what they're talking about as far as like the millionaire, billionaire tax deductions right there. That's exactly what it is, right? It's the higher income people that typically have all the benefits when it comes to the SALT deduction. So again, people in the Senate, Bernie Sanders, that name keeps coming up, right? He is one of them who says, oh no, I don't agree with this. We've got to put a $400,000 cap on it, so anybody earning over that can't take advantage of this, right? So that's something else that's in there as well. Next on the list is immigration. Now, this is something that we've talked about previously, and this is likely going to get quite a bit of reform on this because the Senate parliamentarian has made it very clear that portions of immigration cannot be included within the reconciliation bill, according to Senate parliamentarian rules. However, we did see just the other day that people like AOC and 91 Democrats in total, progressives, signed a letter that they penned just the other day, and they said, let's override the Senate parliamentarian and let's just ignore what she has to say, right? So they're basically saying what the Senate parliamentarian is actually suggesting are just simply that, suggestions and guidelines. Let's just ignore her and just override what she has to say. So again, they want to kind of go against the rules of the referee. Again, this is not my rules. It's just what I'm telling you based on what I'm finding. So that's something else that's likely going to get a lot of pushback and or a lot of debate / negotiation when it's in the Senate, because that's one of those that's walking kind of a fine line when it comes to this Senate parliamentarian rules, right? All right, next on the list is climate, and then we'll get into a couple bonus items here because, as I mentioned earlier, we have no clue what's possibly going to change in the Senate here. All right, so really quickly on climate, as of right now, there's a lot of money in there for like green deals and stuff like that, as far as like emissions or whatever, you know what I mean? So there's probably going to be a lot of pushback on all of this as far as climate. It's very divided in Congress right now when it comes to all this climate funding. So either way, there's likely going to be some pushback on that as well. Again, I'm not going to get into a ton of detail about the climate stuff simply because I know that a lot of you here are wondering, what's in it for us, right? What is in there for us? What can we get out of this? Now, there's probably, not probably, I guarantee it, there's going to be way more changes than just these 5. The reason I say that, because previously, when it comes to the Senate, likely there are hundreds and hundreds of amendments that are filed usually by the night before that the Senate actually takes up debate on this and goes into the vote-a-rama process. Usually there are hundreds of amendments that are filed prior to that time, and any of those amendments could be taken up in the Senate and actually brought in to actually reform the bill a little bit and change it up. So these are just some of the major amendments that we already know about will be going down in the Senate. But remember, they could pretty much add what they want in the package. They could actually add stimulus checks, as we've talked about before. Now, again, I'm not saying that they're going to, because I have no clue. Honestly, I'm crossing my fingers that somebody will come up in the Senate, like a Bernie Sanders or somebody else like that, will come up in the Senate and say, hey, we've got to have stimulus checks. So I've really crossing my fingers on that and doing everything we possibly can to reach out to Bernie, because he has a history of doing that, as he did at one other time about a year ago. But again, these are some of the major changes that we know are coming. But as far as other changes, I guarantee it, there will be more changes coming to the stimulus package. And we can only hope that there's going to be more in there to actually benefit low income and fixed income Americans, because we know right now there's not a ton in the package at the moment for these individuals. And this makes up, millions of people in the United States. So therefore, we're kind of crossing our fingers that they're going to actually add more into the package and turn it back into an anti-poverty plan as it originally was supposed to be way back in the day, like 5 months ago when they originally announced this thing. Well, over time, it kind of transformed a little bit, and the anti-poverty parts apparently just kind of slipped out of the bill, unfortunately. So anyway, it's going to be absolutely busy, very, very busy when Congress picks this back up and they start working on this actively right there in Congress and right there in session. It's going to be kind of intense. I mean, seriously, as we work our way through this thing, it's going to be all hands on deck at all time, because Anything could be announced, anything could be picked up, anything could be changed, removed, added. Just like all the other times that we've talked about stimulus packages, it's usually very, very busy when we get down to the final days. So either way, these are the 5 major changes that we have it laid out to. But again, there's going to be far more than that. Trust me on that. I guarantee it, 100% guarantee it. There will be far more than just these 5 changes. Guarantee it. There always is. This is just some of them that we know about. So hope this helps you out. Again, I'm watching everything closely. I'll be here for you each and every day as your one and only daily advocate. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so you don't miss any videos going forward, as there's a lot going on right now, and I'm here for you with all those updates a couple times each and every day. Feel free to go back and check out some of the other videos here on the channel as well, as there's nearly 2,000 videos right here for you to enjoy. Thanks again for your support. I truly appreciate it. Have a nice day. Subscribe, share the video, and I'll catch you again later.